Locked away in a quiet room inside a big old castle, there was a letter no one was allowed to read. It was written by Queen Elizabeth before she passed away. She wrote it only for her son, King Charles, and told everyone not to open it until the right time. For many years, that letter stayed hidden, untouched, unread, and waiting. No one knew what was inside. No one even dared to ask. It was like a secret frozen in time, holding the final thoughts of a mother who once ruled a nation. Now, after all this time, the letter has finally been opened. And what's written inside is more than just words. It's her last message. A message filled with love, truth, and something deeper that even the crown couldn't hide. This is not just a letter. It's a piece of her heart, a part of her story the world was never supposed to see until now. The discovery of the letter. It started with silence, the kind of silence that fills the halls after something important ends. After Queen Elizabeth II passed away, much of the world paused. Flags were lowered. People gathered around TV screens. There was a shared sense that a chapter in history had closed forever. But in a quiet corner of Balmoral Castle, where the Queen took her final breath, a letter was waiting, tucked away in a red box. Now, these red boxes aren't just any boxes. They're a tradition in the royal family. Every day, the Queen would receive one. Inside, government papers, state documents, official briefings. She reviewed them even in her final days. That's how devoted she was to duty. Even as her health declined, she never stopped being queen. But this red box was different. When her private secretary, Sir Edward Young, opened it after her passing, he didn't just find the usual paperwork. Number. There, sitting quietly among the pages, were 2 sealed envelopes. One addressed to himself, and one to King Charles. That letter, sealed in her handwriting, was something nobody expected. It was not official. It wasn't for Parliament or the Prime Minister. It was personal. A mother's final message to her son. A queen's last words to her king. At first, no one knew what to make of it. Some believed it was purely emotional, a farewell from mother to son. Others thought maybe it contained private instructions or reflections she wanted to leave behind. A few even whispered, could it change something? Was it political? Was it personal? Or was it something in between? The contents weren't made public, not right away. In fact, even now, most of it remains private. But bits and pieces, small whispers from palace insiders, started to make their way into the world. And what they reveal is something beautiful. The letter itself. What's inside? Let's take a moment to imagine it. A letter written not by just any mother, but by one of the most iconic women in modern history. A woman who wore the crown for over 70 years, who guided her nation through wars, change, heartbreak, and celebration. Now imagine her sitting alone, pen in hand, knowing her time was coming to an end, writing one last message, not to the world, but to her son. The tone, it wasn't stiff, it wasn't formal, it was gentle, warm, sincere, and yet, it carried the weight of a lifetime of responsibility. It said the Queen began her letter with simple words, words you might not expect from a monarch. Something like, "My dear Charles, if you are reading this, then I am no longer with you." From there, she reflected on her pride. Pride in the man he had become, pride in how he had weathered storms, from the pain of losing Princess Diana, to the endless media attention, to the long, long wait for the throne. She acknowledged that it hadn't been easy. The path you have walked has not always been kind, but it has shaped you, and I believe it has prepared you. And then came the part that gives chills. Your crown will weigh heavier than mine ever did, not because of the times, but because of the eyes watching you. Think about that for a second. Not because of the times, but because of the eyes. A powerful observation. In today's world, a monarch isn't just a leader. They're a constant image, broadcast 24/7, judged in every headline, meme, and tweet. She knew this. She had seen it. She told Charles that people today wanted more than tradition. They wanted compassion, transparency, realness, and she believed he could give them that. She reminded him that while the crown is ancient, the soul behind it must stay alive and awake to the present. And she encouraged him, gently, to lean on his heart as much as he leaned on history. Do not be afraid to speak with your voice, even when others expect you to echo mine. That line, that's love. That's trust. She wasn't just handing over a throne, she was giving him permission. Permission to lead in his way, not in her shadow, but with her blessing. She spoke briefly of legacy, how the royal family must remain a thread that connects past to present, and how, more than anything else, it must serve. To lead is to serve, and to serve is to listen. Near the end of the letter, the Queen turned personal. She spoke of family, of her grandchildren, of Camilla, of love lost and love regained, of her own regrets, things she never said out loud, missed time, heavy decisions. I was not always the mother I wished I could be, but I was always watching, always loving, always hoping you knew. If you're not crying yet, you're stronger than most. Interpretation and emotional weight. Let's step back. This letter, one private message, handwritten by an aging monarch, does more than just pass along wisdom. It reshapes how we see her, and how we see Charles. We often think of royalty as symbols, as titles. But this letter, it brings the crown down to earth. It reminds us that behind every royal photo is a real person. A mother, a son, a family navigating pain, legacy, and the burden of expectation. Queen Elizabeth didn't write this as Her Majesty. She wrote it as Mummy. And in doing so, she showed us the quiet heart behind the grandeur. For King Charles, receiving this letter must have been overwhelming. For decades, he waited to become king. But he also spent decades in the shadow of a monarch so respected, so iconic, that stepping into her shoes almost seemed impossible. Her letter gave him more than words. It gave him peace. It gave him permission. It gave him her blessing. To lead. To be himself. To carry on. Not as a copy of her, but as his own man. Royal experts believe this letter could become one of the most meaningful heirlooms in modern British history. Not because of secrets, not because of scandal, but because of how real it is. It's being studied for more than just what it says. It's being studied for what it means. Some phrases in the letter, simple, poetic, are already becoming legendary. The line about the crown weighing heavier, the one about watching but not always saying, those are words that will live on. People are starting to understand that behind every polished royal wave, there's a life filled with complicated emotions, with choices, with sacrifices. And Queen Elizabeth's final letter? It wraps all of that into a few pages of handwritten truth. What this means for King Charles. There's something deeply powerful about last words. They stay with you. They echo in quiet moments. And they often become a compass, especially when they come from someone you love. For King Charles, this letter from his mother is not just a keepsake. It's a map. It may be sealed away in a drawer somewhere private, but the truth is, it's likely with him every single day. Not in his hands, but in his heart. You see, when you lose your mother, it's already a weight no crown can lighten. But when your mother is Queen Elizabeth II, the woman who carried an entire kingdom on her shoulders for more than 7 decades, that weight becomes something else entirely. It becomes a legacy, and now, it's his to carry. Charles is no stranger to waiting. He waited longer than any heir in British history to become king. And for most of that time, he stood patiently in the shadow of a monarch admired across the globe. So the question on everyone's mind was, can he lead? Can he live up to her? This letter might just be the thing that reminds him, and reminds us, that he doesn't have to be her. He just has to be himself. If her letter was filled with grace, encouragement, and honesty, then it's very possible that Charles now feels more grounded than ever before. Not just in duty, but in direction. It's one thing to inherit the crown. It's another thing to inherit a mother's blessing. And when that mother ruled with unmatched steadiness, kindness, and wisdom, it matters. The words in that letter may have been meant for one person, but now they speak to the world. A quiet voice from the past, finally heard. Queen Elizabeth's final message isn't just history. It's a reminder of how powerful truth can be, even after someone is gone. If this story moved you, there's so much more to uncover. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more untold moments from history, and turn on the bell so you never miss what's coming next. What's it really like inside Buckingham Palace? For Princess Anne, the experience was not always as glamorous as it seems. While the palace represents royal grandeur, for Anne, it was often a place of tension, loneliness, and frustration. In her recent emotional farewell, she offered a rare glimpse into her life behind the palace walls, shattering the illusion of royal perfection. What she revealed about her time there might surprise you, and it's not the fairy tale life that the world imagines. Anne's perspective provides a new understanding of what it means to live under the shadow of the monarchy, offering a candid look at the struggles that many royals face but seldom speak about. Anne didn't hold back in her reflections, revealing that the life of luxury associated with Buckingham Palace often came at the cost of personal freedom. The pressure of being a royal meant constantly living under the public's microscope, and Anne spoke about the personal toll this took. She explained how, despite being surrounded by wealth and privilege, there was always an emotional void. Anne's decision to leave the palace is a powerful statement about the complexities of royal life that go beyond public perception. It's easy to look at the grandeur of Buckingham Palace and imagine a life of ease, but Anne's experience was filled with sacrifices and struggles that few could understand. What Anne's farewell makes clear is that being a member of the royal family often means being trapped in a gilded cage. The expectations placed on royals to maintain a perfect image are immense, and for Anne, it became unbearable. She admitted that while the palace offered the finest things in life, it also demanded much more than she was willing to give. Her words shed light on the emotional toll of being royalty, where duty and public image often take precedence over personal happiness. Was Princess Anne finally breaking free from this cycle? Or was she simply reclaiming her voice after years of being silenced by tradition? Anne's candid reflections have sent shockwaves through the royal world, as they challenge the widely held belief that the palace life is one of ease and indulgence. She revealed a side of her life that few outsiders had ever known. It wasn't just about leaving Buckingham Palace, it was about taking back control over her own life and identity. The public has long been fascinated by the royal family's carefully crafted image, but Anne's openness has shattered that image, exposing the deep personal cost of being part of one of the world's most famous families. So what does this mean for the future of the royal family? Anne's words have created a ripple effect, prompting many to reconsider their views on the monarchy. Could this be the first step toward change within the royal family? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: Princess Anne's story will never be the same again. Secret struggles at Buckingham Palace revealed. Princess Anne's farewell to Buckingham Palace wasn't just a goodbye. It was an admission of the secret struggles she faced living within its walls. For decades, the public viewed Anne as the steady, unflappable royal, never one to show weakness or vulnerability. But in her emotional speech, Anne peeled back the curtain and revealed what life inside the palace really cost her. Behind the polished image of a dutiful royal was a woman who felt confined, isolated, and constantly under pressure. What led Anne to finally expose these deeply personal struggles? And what does this mean for the future of the monarchy? In her farewell speech, Anne admitted that the pressures of royal life often made her feel as though she was living in a bubble. While Buckingham Palace is a symbol of tradition and history, it also came with its own set of challenges. Anne revealed that, despite the beauty and prestige of the palace, she often felt trapped by the expectations placed upon her. It was as though the weight of royal duty was constantly bearing down on her, leaving little room for personal growth or happiness. The isolation Anne felt within the palace walls was palpable, and for the first time, she allowed the world to see this vulnerable side of her. What was most shocking about Anne's revelation was how much she had sacrificed over the years. While the public saw her as the strong, reliable royal, Anne's internal battle was one of emotional strain and exhaustion. She spoke openly about the loneliness she faced, despite being surrounded by family and staff. Buckingham Palace, which was supposed to be her home, often felt more like a prison. In revealing this, Anne shattered the perception that royals have everything they could ever want. Her truth opens up a new conversation about the hidden emotional toll of being a royal. Anne's emotional speech also highlighted the immense pressure that comes with being part of the royal family. She shared that the constant scrutiny, the public's expectations, and the need to maintain a perfect image were all-consuming. But despite all of this, Anne confessed that there was a part of her that always longed for a simpler life. One where she could live without the weight of the monarchy hanging over her. Anne's farewell was a deeply personal reflection on the sacrifices she had made and the toll it had taken on her over the years. In sharing her struggles, Princess Anne has opened the door to a deeper understanding of what it means to live as a member of the royal family. Her decision to finally speak out is a courageous step that may inspire others within the monarchy to also share their truths. What will this mean for the future of the royal family? Only time will tell, but Princess Anne's revelations have already begun to shift the conversation in ways no one could have anticipated. Why could this change royal history? Princess Anne's decision to leave Buckingham Palace is one that will undoubtedly echo through royal history. But why did she make this unprecedented move? And what does it mean for the monarchy's future? In her farewell speech, Anne made it clear that her decision wasn't just about seeking peace. It was about challenging the very structure of the monarchy itself. For the first time in history, a royal of Princess Anne's stature is questioning the monarchy's traditional values and its grip on her life. This bombshell announcement could reshape the future of the royal family in ways that no one expected. Princess Anne's departure is far from a simple exit. It's a symbolic act of defiance. For decades, the monarchy has been built on a foundation of tradition, duty, and control. But Anne's decision suggests that the royals may not be as invincible as they once seemed. Anne's words struck a nerve, as they called into question the very system that has governed the royal family for centuries. Could this be the beginning of a larger movement within the monarchy to modernize and adapt to the changing times? If Princess Anne's exit is any indication, the royal family might soon face an existential crisis that could force it to evolve or risk losing its relevance. The implications of Anne's decision are far-reaching. For years, the royal family has been seen as an institution that is above reproach. But Anne's bold farewell shows that even the most stalwart members of the royal household can feel the weight of tradition and the burden of duty. What does this mean for the future of the monarchy? Could we see more royals speaking out or stepping away from their royal roles in the future? Princess Anne's farewell has opened the floodgates for a larger conversation about the role of the monarchy in modern society. As the world digests Anne's shocking announcement, it's clear that the monarchy is at a crossroads. Will Princess Anne's decision to leave Buckingham Palace inspire a new era for the royal family, one that embraces change and transparency? Or will it serve as a reminder of the challenges and struggles that even royals face when living in the public eye? Only time will reveal what comes next, but one thing is certain. Princess Anne's decision will forever alter the course of royal history. The Hidden Princess. Anne's emotional departure from Buckingham Palace has sent shockwaves through the royal family. But behind her heartfelt farewell lies a hidden truth that the public has never known. Until now. Anne's decision wasn't just about leaving a building. It was about leaving behind a system that had long dictated her life. Her words uncovered the raw emotions that have been building for years, offering an inside look into what life inside Buckingham Palace is really like. Was Anne's decision driven by personal dissatisfaction, or was there something more at play? This shocking revelation challenges everything we thought we knew about royal life. In her speech, Anne confessed that her decision to leave was a long time coming. Despite being a respected member of the royal family, she had always felt like an outsider in her own home. Buckingham Palace, despite its grandeur, had become a place where Anne felt increasingly isolated and disconnected. Her words hinted that the palace had long been a symbol of duty and sacrifice, but not of personal happiness. Could it be that Anne's emotional departure is a statement against the monarchy's rigid structure? If so, what does this mean for other royals who may feel similarly trapped by tradition? Anne's farewell marks a turning point in how we view the royal family's internal dynamics. While the world may have thought of Anne as the dutiful royal who followed the rules, her words have shown us a woman who is ready to break free from the expectations placed upon her. This is not just a story about a royal departure, it's a story about reclaiming one's life and identity in the face of overwhelming pressure. As Princess Anne steps away from Buckingham Palace, she leaves behind a legacy that could change the way we view royalty forever. So, what does this mean for the future of the royal family? Anne's decision to leave has created a ripple effect that will be felt for generations. Her willingness to speak out and take control of her own destiny may inspire others within the monarchy to do the same. Will we see more royals breaking away from their roles, or is Princess Anne's departure a one-time act of defiance? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure. Princess Anne's farewell will go down in history as one of the most surprising and impactful moments in royal history. What this means for the royal family. Princess Anne's departure from Buckingham Palace is not just a personal moment, it's a symbol of a much deeper shift within the royal family. For centuries, the monarchy has been seen as a monolithic institution, with members expected to follow strict protocols and carry out their royal duties with little room for personal choices. But Anne's emotional farewell hints at a broader change that is bubbling beneath the surface. Could her decision to leave represent the first crack in the royal facade, a sign that the royal family is finally confronting the immense pressures of modern life? Anne's farewell is not just about her stepping down from a royal role, it is an invitation to reconsider how the monarchy functions in the 21st century. In an age where personal autonomy and mental health are gaining more recognition, Anne's words suggest that even the royals are not immune to the struggles that many of us face. The world has long admired the royal family for its strength, poise, and tradition. But Anne's departure reminds us that even they have their limits. Could this be the first step in a larger evolution of the monarchy? A shift where individual needs are placed alongside royal duties. What makes Anne's exit so compelling is how it intersects with the struggles that many of the younger royals have been quietly facing in recent years. From Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's decision to step away from royal duties to the increased scrutiny placed on younger generations, there is a growing sense that the monarchy may be on the verge of a major transformation. Anne's farewell has opened the door for future conversations about what it means to be a royal in the modern age. And in doing so, she has set a precedent that may influence how the next generation of royals approach their roles. Despite the shockwave caused by Anne's words, one has to wonder, how much of this is tied to her personal experience, and how much of it reflects a larger desire for change within the royal family? Anne's life has been marked by a deep sense of duty, but her emotional farewell suggests that even she has struggled with the weight of tradition. It's a moment that calls for reflection, not only for Anne, but for all of us as we consider the evolving nature of royalty, leadership, and individual freedom. In the end, Princess Anne's departure isn't just about her leaving Buckingham Palace. It's a symbol of change, a challenge to the status quo, and a call for deeper conversations about how the royal family can adapt to the modern world while still honoring its history. The future of the monarchy is in flux, and Anne's bold decision may have been the catalyst that sparks a much-needed dialogue about the personal lives of royals and their ability to forge their own paths. Princess Anne's emotional farewell to Buckingham Palace has left an indelible mark on the royal family's history. Her decision to step away is a powerful statement that challenges the very foundation of royal life as we know it. But what does it mean for the future of the monarchy? Will other royals follow in her footsteps, or is this a unique moment of defiance that will forever change how we see the family? As the royal world processes Anne's shocking words, one thing is clear: the monarchy will never be the same again. Do you think Princess Anne's decision will inspire other royals to break free from tradition? Or will the royal family close ranks and continue with business as usual? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this explosive look into Princess Anne's life and the royal family's internal struggles, Don't forget to hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe for more eye-opening royal revelations. You won't want to miss the next story. We have more shocking updates coming soon.
Can't mimic voices for love or money. I'm completely hopeless at it. I was the only one, so I think she carved her own role.
Queen Camilla's rise to prominence as King Charles III's wife has been one of the most talked about transformations in modern royal history. Before her marriage to Charles in 2005, Camilla was married to Andrew Parker Bowles, a former member of the British military. Together, they had 2 children, Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes. While Tom often draws attention for his culinary career and occasional public appearances, Laura has remained far more private, choosing to stay out of the royal spotlight as much as possible. However, recent revelations by Laura have shocked royal observers and the public alike, as she spoke candidly about her mother's controversial journey to the throne and the impact it had on her personal and professional life. Her story sheds light on the unique struggles she faced as someone pulled into the royal fold without choice, offering an intimate perspective rarely shared by those adjacent to the monarchy. Laura Lopes was born on January 1, 1978, into a world of British upper-class privilege, but far removed from royal traditions. As the daughter of Camilla and Andrew Parker Bowles, Laura grew up in an environment of wealth and status, attending Haywood Preparatory School and later pursuing a degree in the history of art at Oxford Brookes University. During her formative years, Laura lived a relatively normal, albeit privileged life with her brother Tom. However, even during her childhood, the whispers and rumors surrounding her mother's relationship with Charles began to seep into her reality. The media's relentless coverage of Camilla as the other woman in Charles and Diana's marriage created an unwanted shadow over Laura's life. Friends, teachers, and even strangers would make assumptions about her based solely on her mother's public image. For a young girl trying to understand the complexities of relationships and trust, these experiences forced her to mature quickly. Laura has described her formative years as turbulent, marked by a deep tension between her mother's devotion to family and the public perception of her as a villain. The divorce of her parents in 1995, fueled by years of rumors about Camilla's affair with Charles, was another difficult chapter for Laura. Though shielded from the media as much as possible, she couldn't escape the indirect effects of the public scrutiny that engulfed her family. Yet through it all, Laura maintained a strong bond with her mother. She admired Camilla's ability to remain composed and resilient, even when she was one of the most criticized figures in the British press. When Camilla married Charles in 2005, Laura's life changed dramatically. Unlike Prince William and Prince Harry, who were born into royalty and grew up under the spotlight, Laura was thrust into the royal world as an adult. This abrupt transition was far from easy. While her mother embraced her new role as Duchess of Cornwall, Laura found herself struggling to reconcile her private life with the expectations of her new royal connections. Attending public events with her mother and stepfather brought an overwhelming amount of attention she never sought. She often felt out of place, especially during high-profile events where royal protocols clashed with her desire to remain in the background. One of the most fascinating aspects of Laura's story is her relationship with her stepbrothers, Prince William and Prince Harry. Their interactions have been described as polite, but distant. It is no secret that William and Harry have struggled with their father's relationship with Camilla. Both princes have spoken openly about the pain caused by their parents' divorce and Charles's affair, which undoubtedly created a natural barrier between them and Laura. According to reports, heated arguments occasionally broke out between Laura and William in the early years after Camilla and Charles's marriage. William, feeling protective of his late mother, Princess Diana, would sometimes criticize Camilla, blaming her for his mother's unhappiness. Laura, fiercely loyal to her own mother, would push back, arguing that Charles's actions had caused just as much difficulty for her family. These disagreements highlight how both William and Laura coped with the emotional fallout of their parents' past, but from very different perspectives. Despite these tensions, Laura has largely avoided engaging in any public disputes. Unlike Harry, who has been vocal about his grievances with the royal family, Laura has chosen to stay silent, focusing on her own life and career. However, The release of Harry's memoir, Spare, reignited old wounds. In the book, Harry described Queen Camilla as a dangerous figure who prioritized her public image over the well-being of others. While Laura did not directly respond to Harry's claims, reports suggest she was deeply hurt by the accusations. The fallout from the memoir has added another layer of complexity to Laura's relationship with her stepbrothers, making an already fragile dynamic even more strained. Professionally, Laura has built an impressive career as an art gallerist, establishing her independence from the royal family. She worked at prestigious institutions, including the Peggy Guggenheim Collection in Venice, and later co-founded 11 Gallery in London, which focuses on promoting emerging artists. Her work in the art world has allowed her to carve out her own identity, separate from her royal connections. Friends describe Laura as independent, grounded, and uninterested in the trappings of royalty. Even after her mother became queen consort, Laura continued to prioritize her career and family, avoiding the spotlight whenever possible. In her personal life, Laura has also sought stability and privacy. She married Harry Lopes, a former model and chartered accountant, in 2006. Their wedding, held at St. Cyriac's Church in Wiltshire, was attended by members of both the Parker Bowles and royal families. Laura's choice of Anna Valentine to design her wedding dress, a nod to the same designer who created Camilla's bridal gown for her marriage to Charles, highlighted her quiet connection to her mother. Together, Laura and Harry have 3 children, Eliza, and twin boys Gus and Lewis. Laura has been fiercely protective of her children, determined to give them as normal an upbringing as possible. While Eliza briefly entered the public eye as a bridesmaid at Prince William and Kate Middleton's wedding in 2011, Laura has largely kept her family away from royal events. Her focus has been on creating a grounded and private life for her children, free from the pressures of their royal connections. Despite her efforts to remain private, Laura's ties to the royal family inevitably draw her into the public eye from time to time. She has attended significant events, including the coronation of King Charles III and Queen Camilla in 2023, where her twin sons served as pages of honor. The boys' participation was a poignant moment, symbolizing the blending of Camilla's old and new family. Yet, even on such occasions, Laura's discomfort with public attention is apparent. Insiders note that while she fulfills her duties gracefully, she often remains on the periphery, avoiding unnecessary interactions with key royal figures. Laura's relationship with her mother is one of the most compelling aspects of her story. While she deeply admires Camilla's resilience and ability to overcome public criticism, Laura has also acknowledged the challenges their family faced as a result of Camilla's role in Charles's life. Camilla's decision to fully embrace her royal duties created a sense of distance between mother and daughter, depriving them of the simpler, more private moments they once shared. Yet, through it all, their bond remains strong. Laura has been described as one of Camilla's closest confidants, a voice of reason and support during difficult times. Royal insiders even claim that Laura is the only person Camilla truly fears, highlighting the depth of their relationship and the mutual respect they share. The media's relentless focus on Laura has been a source of frustration for her. Every significant event in her life, from her marriage to the births of her children, has been closely scrutinized by the British press. Laura has expressed frustration that her achievements are often overshadowed by her mother's history and the controversies surrounding the royal family. She has worked tirelessly to build a life defined by her own merits, but her connection to Queen Camilla and King Charles III continues to complicate her efforts to remain private. Adding to her challenges, Laura's professional ventures have not always been smooth. Her fashion boutique, Mojo & McCoy, which she co-founded with friends, recently closed after facing difficulties in the retail industry. The boutique, located in Hungerford, was initially seen as a promising business, stocking high-end brands and catering to the affluent local community. However, despite Laura's best efforts, the store struggled to stay afloat. Reports suggest that Laura may seek advice from King Charles before embarking on a new business venture, as she has been impressed by his ability to navigate tough situations. This acknowledgement of Charles's guidance highlights the evolving dynamic between Laura and her stepfather, as well as her willingness to lean on him for support when needed. Laura's future remains a subject of speculation. While rumors occasionally surface about the possibility of her and her brother Tom receiving royal titles, both have firmly denied such claims. Laura has made it clear that she has no interest in becoming a public figure or taking on formal royal duties. Instead, she continues to focus on her family, her art career, and her desire to lead a life that is as normal and private as possible. Yet, as the daughter of Queen Camilla, Laura's attempts to separate herself from the royal family may never fully succeed. Her presence at key events and her role as a supportive daughter and mother ensure that she will always remain connected to the monarchy in some way.
You didn't believe she was dead?
For a long time. I just refused to accept that she was gone.
For decades, the world believed they knew the truth about Princess Diana's tragic death. A terrible car accident in Paris, caused by a drunk driver and pursuing paparazzi. The people's princess, taken too soon in a senseless tragedy. But now, a shocking revelation has turned that narrative upside down, leaving the British royal family and the entire world reeling. What could possibly be more devastating than the original tragedy? The truth behind what really happened that fateful night in Paris is more unimaginable than anyone could have suspected. The shocking revelation. On a rainy Tuesday morning in London, crowds gathered outside the Old Bailey, Britain's central criminal court, as rumors swirled about a secret trial that had been conducted behind closed doors. Security was unprecedented, with armed officers creating a perimeter around the building and all electronic devices banned from the proceedings. When the Lord Chief Justice emerged to address the waiting press, his face was ashen. "Today, I must deliver news of such gravity that it will forever alter our understanding of recent British history," he began, his voice wavering slightly. Following a trial conducted with the highest security protocols, evidence has been presented that has led to the conviction of a member of the royal family in connection with the death of Diana, Princess of Wales. The crowd fell silent as the impossible words hung in the air. The justice continued. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, has been found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder in the death of his mother. The sentence is life imprisonment without possibility of parole. The world stood still. How could this possibly be true? Diana's youngest son, who had been just 12 years old when she died, convicted of orchestrating her murder. It defied comprehension. The evidence uncovered. As details emerged in the following days, the story became even more bizarre and disturbing. The case had begun unraveling 3 years earlier, when a former MI6 agent, terminally ill with pancreatic cancer, had come forward with a deathbed confession. He claimed to have knowledge of a long-term operation that had been hidden from all but the highest levels of British intelligence. According to recently declassified documents, the agent had provided investigators with encrypted files that contained surveillance recordings, financial transactions, and communication logs dating back to 1997. Most disturbing were a series of coded messages allegedly sent from a young Harry to unknown operatives in Paris in the weeks before Diana's death. Forensic accountants had traced a series of complex financial transactions through offshore accounts that appeared to link the young prince to payments made to several individuals who were in Paris the night Diana died. Computer experts testified that the encryption used in these communications matched protocols that would have only been known to someone with access to royal security briefings. Perhaps most damning was newly enhanced security footage from the Ritz Hotel in Paris that appeared to show Harry, disguised and wearing a prosthetic facial feature, meeting with Henri Paul, the driver who would later crash the car carrying Diana and Dodi Fayed. Facial recognition experts testified with 99.7% certainty that despite the disguise, the individual was Harry. The impossible timeline. But how could a 12-year-old boy possibly have orchestrated such a complex plot? This question dominated headlines worldwide as royal experts and criminal psychologists attempted to make sense of the conviction. The prosecution's case, portions of which were now being leaked to the press, presented a timeline that seemed impossible. They alleged that Harry, far from being the traumatized child the world had sympathized with, had been a calculating prodigy who harbored deep resentment toward his mother for her relationship with Dodi Fayed and her increasingly independent stance from the royal family. psychologist brought in by the prosecution painted a picture of a disturbed child who, despite his youth, had access to resources and connections that most adults could never imagine. They claimed he had been diagnosed with a rare condition that accelerated cognitive development while dampening emotional and moral reasoning, essentially creating a child with the intellectual capabilities of an adult, but without fully developed empathy. The defense had vehemently rejected this characterization, bringing their own experts who testified that such a psychological profile was pure fiction, and that the prosecution's timeline was physically impossible. They pointed out that Harry had been at Balmoral Castle in Scotland with his father and brother when Diana died, a fact confirmed by numerous royal staff and security personnel. The royal family's response. As the details of the conviction became public, Buckingham Palace remained in lockdown. King Charles III, Harry's father, had reportedly collapsed upon hearing the verdict and was under medical supervision. Prince William, now heir to the throne, had cancelled all public appearances indefinitely. After 3 days of silence, the palace finally issued a brief statement. The royal family acknowledges the verdict delivered by the court. This is a time of profound shock and grief as we attempt to understand these disturbing allegations. We ask for privacy as we process these events and determine appropriate next steps. No further statements will be made at this time. The statement was notable for what it didn't say. There was no defense of Harry, no questioning of the verdict, no expression of support for the convicted prince. This omission led to immediate speculation that the royal family had prior knowledge of the investigation, or perhaps even believed in Harry's guilt. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, who had been in California with the couple's children during the secret trial, was reportedly under protection at an undisclosed location. Sources close to her claimed she was utterly devastated and in complete disbelief, having had no knowledge of the trial until the verdict was announced. Public disbelief and conspiracy theories. The public reaction worldwide was one of stunned disbelief, followed quickly by skepticism. How could such a massive conspiracy have remained hidden for decades? How could a child have orchestrated such a complex plot? And why would Harry have wanted his beloved mother dead? Social media exploded with conspiracy theories, many suggesting that Harry was being framed, perhaps by elements within the royal family or British intelligence, who feared what might be revealed in his upcoming memoir. Others pointed to his recent estrangement from the royal family as potential motivation for a coordinated attack on his character and freedom. Supporters gathered outside Kensington Palace with signs reading "Free Harry" and "Truth for Diana." In the United States, where Harry had relocated in recent years, political figures called for international oversight of the case, questioning Britain's judicial process and the secrecy surrounding the trial. Prominent legal experts expressed grave concerns about the conviction. A secret trial, with evidence never subjected to public scrutiny, resulting in a verdict that defies logical timeline analysis. These are hallmarks of a judicial travesty, not justice, remarked one Harvard law professor. The confession that changed everything. Just as public opinion was coalescing around the belief that Harry had been framed, the case took another stunning turn. 1 week after the verdict was announced, Harry requested a television interview from his holding cell at an undisclosed maximum security facility. In a broadcast that would become the most watched television event in history, Harry appeared on screen looking haggard but composed. What followed was a 40-minute monologue that left viewers worldwide speechless. "The truth about my mother's death has been hidden for too long," he began. "While I maintain my innocence regarding the specific charges, there are aspects of that night that the world deserves to know." He then proceeded to outline a narrative so complex and disturbing that it challenged everything the public thought they knew about the royal family. He claimed that while he had not orchestrated his mother's death, he had discovered evidence years later suggesting involvement by other members of the royal family and British intelligence. According to Harry, his recent estrangement from royal duties and move to America had been motivated not by personal preference, but by his discovery of this evidence. "I couldn't continue to represent an institution that I believed was complicit in my mother's death," he stated. Most shocking was his assertion that he had been willing to accept conviction to protect his children. "There are forces at work that have made it clear to me that my children would be in danger if I revealed what I know," he said, his voice breaking. "This conviction, while based on fabricated evidence, serves their purpose of discrediting me while allowing me to protect those I love by maintaining certain secrets." He concluded with words that sent chills through viewers. "I say goodbye to freedom, knowing that someday the full truth will emerge. Until then, I accept this sentence as the price for my children's safety." The aftermath and unanswered questions. In the days following Harry's televised statement, the case became even more convoluted. Legal experts questioned how a defendant who maintained his innocence could be convicted in a fair trial. Intelligence analysts debated whether Harry's claims about threats to his children were credible or a desperate attempt to rationalize a legitimate conviction. The royal family remained silent, neither confirming nor denying Harry's implications of their involvement in Diana's death. This silence only fueled further speculation, with public opinion increasingly turning against the monarchy as questions mounted. Parliament convened an emergency session to discuss the constitutional implications of a convicted murderer in the line of succession, though far down the list. Legal scholars debated whether the conviction could be challenged in international courts, given the extraordinary nature of the secret trial. Meanwhile, Harry was transferred to an undisclosed prison facility, reportedly under constant surveillance to prevent any possibility of self-harm. Visitors were strictly prohibited, with even his legal team having limited access. The evidence disappears. 3 months after Harry's conviction, another shocking development occurred. The Ministry of Justice announced that the evidence used to convict Harry had been stolen during a sophisticated breach of government security systems. All digital records, including the enhanced security footage from the Ritz Hotel and the financial transaction records, had been completely wiped from government servers. The physical evidence, including original documents provided by the MI6 whistleblower, had disappeared from a supposedly impenetrable evidence vault. With the evidence gone, legal experts suggested that Harry's conviction should be overturned or at least reconsidered. However, the Lord Chief Justice issued a statement indicating that the verdict would stand, as the evidence had been duly considered by the court before its disappearance. This extraordinary series of events only deepened public skepticism about the case. If the evidence was compelling enough to convict a royal prince of matricide, how could it have been so poorly protected? Was the theft a convenient way to prevent further scrutiny of potentially fabricated evidence? A nation divided. A family destroyed. As months passed, Britain found itself deeply divided. Polls showed that approximately half the population believed Harry was innocent and had been framed, while others accepted his guilt but questioned the circumstances surrounding his confession. A smaller percentage believed in his complete guilt and felt justice had been served for Diana. The monarchy's popularity plummeted to historic lows. King Charles, already advanced in age, appeared increasingly frail in his rare public appearances. There were whispers in political circles about the viability of the monarchy itself, with Republican sentiment growing stronger than at any time in modern British history. Prince William, now effectively the face of the monarchy's future, found himself in an impossible position, unable to defend his brother without potentially implicating his family in Diana's death, yet viewed with suspicion by a public that wondered about his own knowledge of the truth. Meghan and the children remained in the United States under tight security. Sources reported that all communication with Harry was monitored, with their children unable to have private conversations with their father. The documentary that shook the world. 1 year after Harry's conviction, a documentary was released simultaneously in multiple countries to avoid British legal injunctions. Titled The Prince's Tragedy, it featured interviews with former royal security personnel, intelligence officers, and forensic experts who systematically dismantled the timeline of the prosecution's case. Most compelling was testimony from Harry's former protection officers, who provided irrefutable evidence that he had been continuously under their supervision at Balmoral during the critical periods when he was allegedly in Paris. They risked prosecution themselves by revealing classified duty logs and security protocols that had previously been withheld from the defense. The documentary also introduced a facial recognition expert who demonstrated that the technology used to identify Harry in the Paris footage had been manipulated. Using the original algorithm rather than the modified version presented in court, the expert showed that the individual in the footage bore only a 23% similarity to Harry, far below the threshold for identification. Perhaps most damning was an interview with a former MI6 operations director who suggested that the entire case against Harry had been manufactured to prevent him from revealing what he had discovered about Diana's death. When a prince threatens to expose state secrets, conventional methods of silencing him are impossible, the intelligence veteran noted. Character assassination and false imprisonment become the only options. The final goodbye. 2 years into Harry's sentence, as legal challenges to his conviction gained momentum and public pressure for a retrial mounted, another shocking announcement came from the prison authorities. Prince Harry had been found dead in his cell, apparently by suicide. According to the brief official statement, he had left a note reading simply, "The truth dies with me. Keep them safe." No autopsy results were released, and his body was quickly cremated before independent examination could be arranged. Meghan released a statement questioning the suicide ruling and demanding an international investigation, but her voice was largely drowned out by the wave of memorials and retrospectives that followed Harry's death. The narrative quickly shifted from questions about his conviction to reflections on his troubled life. In a final twist that seemed to confirm the darkest suspicions, all pending legal challenges to Harry's conviction were administratively closed within days of his death. The judge who had been reviewing the appeal request recused himself without explanation and subsequently left the country. The legacy of doubt. Today, years after these extraordinary events, the truth about Princess Diana's death and her son's conviction remains obscured. The official record states that Harry was guilty of conspiring in his mother's murder and later took his own life in prison. But millions around the world remain convinced that this narrative conceals a far more disturbing reality. Annual vigils are held outside Buckingham Palace on the anniversary of both Diana's and Harry's deaths. Conspiracy theories continue to flourish, books and documentaries regularly revisit the case, and justice for Harry remains a rallying cry for those who believe in his innocence. The monarchy has never fully recovered from the scandal. While it continues to function, its mystique and public support have been permanently damaged. King Charles passed away not long after his son, with many attributing his decline to the stress of these events. William now reigns as a king forever shadowed by questions about his brother's fate and his own knowledge of the truth. Meghan and the children remain in America, where they live under assumed names, rarely seen in public. On the anniversary of Harry's death each year, an anonymous donor places lilies, Diana's favorite flower, on a bench in a London park with a card that reads simply, "The truth never dies. Only goodbye for now, not forever." For a public that once mourned a princess, then watched her sons grow up under the weight of that tragedy, the story's final chapter seems cruelly fitting. More questions than answers, more shadows than light, and a family destroyed by secrets that may never be fully revealed.
King Charles III has been diagnosed with cancer. Buckingham Palace just confirming the news in a statement, but not saying which type of cancer.
Something serious is happening behind the palace doors. Queen Camilla has shared news that no one saw coming. She has been diagnosed with a dangerous illness. For years, she has been by King Charles's side, always strong, always smiling. But now she faces a health battle that could change everything. People close to the royal family are worried. Whispers are spreading. What does this mean for her? What does this mean for the royal family? Questions are everywhere, but answers are few. Now, the truth is coming out, and it's more shocking than anyone expected. Queen Camilla's deadly diagnosis. Now, let's talk about the heartbreaking reason Queen Camilla is making headlines all around the world. This news has shocked not only the UK, but also millions of royal fans across the globe. No one expected this, and honestly, it's hard to even believe. Queen Camilla has shared that she has been diagnosed with multiple myeloma, a rare and deadly type of blood cancer. It's the kind of disease most people don't know much about until someone close to them is affected. Sadly, that someone, in this case, is Queen Camilla herself. It is believed that Camilla first started feeling unwell a few months ago. She had been experiencing constant back pain, unusual tiredness, and even weight loss. At first, she thought maybe it was just stress or age catching up. After all, being part of the royal family comes with a lot of pressure, and she's been attending countless royal events. But things didn't get better. In fact, they got worse. She found it hard to stand for long hours during events. Even smiling and waving seemed tiring. That's when the doctors ran some tests. After weeks of checkups and endless hospital visits, the royal doctors finally gave her the heartbreaking news. She had multiple myeloma. Camilla chose to share this news with the world in the most graceful way. Instead of hiding it, she sat down for an emotional interview with a royal reporter. With a trembling voice, but with her usual calmness, she shared her diagnosis. She wanted people to hear it from her, not from rumors. She also released an official statement through Buckingham Palace, where she thanked everyone for their love and support. Camilla admitted in the interview that hearing the words, "You have cancer," changed her world forever. She said she felt like the ground had been pulled from under her feet. But she also shared that she is determined to fight this battle with all her strength. Understanding multiple myeloma. The silent killer. Many people might not know what multiple myeloma is. It is a type of blood cancer that affects the plasma cells found in our bone marrow. These cells are supposed to help us fight infections. But when they turn cancerous, they start damaging the body from the inside. The symptoms can be really hard to notice at first. They include tiredness, back pain, frequent infections, and weak bones. Most people, just like Camilla, think it's normal aging or stress. But sadly, this disease keeps growing silently inside the body until it's too late. Multiple myeloma is very dangerous because it doesn't just attack one part of the body. It spreads and affects the bones, kidneys, and even the immune system. That's why doctors call it a deadly disease. The survival rates depend on how early the cancer is caught. Some people live for several years with treatment, while others may have a much shorter time. Sadly, there is no permanent cure for multiple myeloma yet. The treatments available, like chemotherapy, radiation, and stem cell transplants, only help to slow it down. Doctors say that this cancer is more common in people above the age of 65, which makes Camilla's case even more worrying. Many women her age don't even realize they have it until it becomes very serious. Experts from across the world have already started reacting to Camilla's diagnosis, calling it a brave step for her to share this news publicly. They hope it will raise awareness about this deadly disease and help others catch it early. The impact on Queen Camilla's royal duties. Now, as you can imagine, this diagnosis has not just affected Camilla's health, but also her role as the Queen Consort. Being a senior royal is not easy. There are hundreds of public appearances, charity events, and royal tours every year. It's a full-time job that demands both physical and emotional strength. Sources close to the palace have said that Camilla is already stepping back from many of her royal duties. She has canceled several public appearances, and palace insiders say this is just the beginning. Doctors have advised her to rest and focus on her treatment, which will involve chemotherapy and other aggressive treatments. King Charles is said to be absolutely heartbroken by the news. He has been by Camilla's side every step of the way. In fact, royal insiders say that the king is even considering cutting back on his own royal duties so he can spend more time with Camilla during this tough time. What's even more worrying is that this comes at a time when King Charles himself is battling his own health issues. As many of you already know, Charles was recently diagnosed with cancer too, though the palace hasn't shared what kind. This means that both the king and queen are now fighting serious health battles at the same time. Prince William and Kate Middleton are also said to be deeply worried. With both Charles and Camilla unwell, a lot of the royal responsibilities may now fall on William and Kate's shoulders. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, though estranged from the royal family, have reportedly reached out privately to express their concern and support. There is growing speculation about what this means for the future of the monarchy. Will Charles and Camilla step back fully? Will Prince William need to step up sooner than expected? These are questions many people are asking right now. Camilla's personal message, a woman of strength and grace. In the middle of all this, Queen Camilla has shown incredible courage. In her interview, she spoke openly about her feelings and her plans for the future. She thanked everyone who had sent her letters, prayers, and good wishes. She also shared a very emotional message that touched many hearts. She said, "I have always believed in facing life's challenges with courage and grace. This is not an easy journey, but I know I am not alone. I have the love of my family, my husband, and the people of this country. For that, I am truly grateful. Camilla also made it clear that while she is going through treatment, she wants to spend more time with her children and grandchildren. She wants to focus on what truly matters: family, love, and making every moment count. At the same time, she said she will continue supporting the causes she deeply cares about, like women's health, domestic violence charities, and reading programs. But of course, everything will now depend on how she feels and what her doctors advise. She ended her message with a small but powerful request. She asked people to get regular checkups and never ignore the signs their bodies give them. She hopes her story will encourage others to take their health seriously. What this means for the future of the monarchy. Camilla's diagnosis has left many people wondering what the future holds for the British monarchy. With both the king and queen battling cancer, this is truly an uncertain time for the royal family. For centuries, the royal family has symbolized strength and stability. But now, the future feels shaky. There are talks in royal circles about the possibility of a regency, where Prince William might have to step in to perform the duties of the king if Charles becomes too unwell. This is not something that would happen overnight, but the fact that people are even talking about it shows just how serious the situation is. Some experts say that the royal family might never be the same after this. At the same time, many people feel a new sense of connection to the royal family. They see Camilla and Charles not just as royals, but as human beings, parents, grandparents, husband, and wife, facing the same fears and struggles as any other family. Public sentiment right now is mixed. Some people are sending endless love and prayers to Camilla. Others are quietly questioning what this means for the monarchy's future. Will people continue to support the royal family if their two most senior members are no longer able to lead? One thing is clear: the coming months will be crucial. The royal family will need to make some very difficult decisions. But for now, the most important thing is Camilla's health and well-being. Queen Camilla's diagnosis has left many in shock, and the future remains uncertain. As the royal family faces this difficult time, all eyes are on what happens next.
She was the villain. She was the third person in the marriage. She needed.
Let's take a look at the intriguing and controversial life of King Charles, a prominent figure in the British royal family, as Kayleigh McEnany unveils a comprehensive exposé on his secrets, scandals, and untold stories. This revealing narrative also sheds light on the journey of his current queen consort, Camilla Parker Bowles. From the early days of Camilla's romance with Prince Charles, through years of public scrutiny and scandal, to her eventual acceptance into the royal fold, we explore every detail of their complex relationship. Discover how a single phone call almost brought down the British monarchy, and how a secret love affair existed long before Princess Diana came into the picture. Get ready to delve into the hidden truths behind the headlines, as we examine how Camilla transformed from one of the most reviled women in Britain to queen consort. This story spans decades and includes some of the most shocking moments in royal history, as revealed by Kayleigh McEnany. Starting from the beginning, we follow the current queen consort, Camilla Parker Bowles, and King Charles as they navigate their new roles amidst ongoing public scrutiny. Their relationship has been anything but smooth, marked by scandal and controversy, notably during Charles's marriage to Princess Diana. However, the revelations didn't stop there. Uncover the secret Queen Camilla revealed about King Charles, and explore the royal love story that intertwines Charles, Camilla, and Diana, adding layers of intrigue to this narrative that mirrors a fairy tale with its unexpected twists and turns. On a breezy afternoon in 1970, during a polo match at Windsor Great Park, Charles encountered Camilla. She broke the ice by mentioning that her great-grandmother had been the mistress of Charles's great-great-grandfather, highlighting their shared history. It's quite an introduction. Historians suggest they may have been introduced by a mutual friend, Lucia Santa Cruz, but regardless of how it happened, sparks flew, and they began dating. Their bond was genuine, marked by real happiness and togetherness. However, their romance was interrupted when Charles was sent to serve in the Royal Navy. During their time apart, Camilla made a pivotal decision and married Andrew Parker Bowles in 1973, a man who had once dated Charles's sister, Princess Anne. Despite her marriage, Camilla and Charles maintained their connection, with Charles even becoming the godfather to Camilla's son Tom. Rumor has it that Charles made a last-minute attempt to stop Camilla's wedding. Imagine the heartache of watching someone you love marry another. Before Diana entered the scene, Charles had a brief romance with her sister, Sarah Spencer, in 1977. This relationship ended when Sarah overshared with the press, but she played a crucial role in introducing Charles to her younger sister, Diana, at Althorpe House during a pheasant hunt. This introduction set the stage for Charles and Diana's relationship. Charles's relationship with Diana was heavily influenced by royal expectations. By the late 1970s, he was under pressure to find a suitable wife, and Diana, young and seemingly perfect for the role of a princess, fit the bill. Despite this, Charles's heart always seemed to be drawn to Camilla. Their early days were filled with joy, a stark contrast to the challenges that lay ahead for Charles. The impact of Charles's first love with Camilla was profound, enduring through the years. Camilla would later reveal the full truth about Charles. But before we get to that revelation, let's delve deeper into Charles and Diana's story, from teenage crush to royal partnership. Their early days were filled with charming but awkward moments. In November 1977, Diana, a 16-year-old schoolgirl, met 28-year-old Charles, a prominent royal figure, at Althorpe. Thanks to her sister Sarah, who had once dated Charles, the dinner was buzzing with excitement when the prince arrived. Diana made a lasting impression with her lively personality, catching Charles's attention. He even asked her for a dance after dinner, marking their first formal meeting. In 1978, Diana found herself amid the grandeur of Buckingham Palace, attending Charles's 30th birthday celebration. This event, filled with royalty and elite figures, was a world Diana, still a teenager, had to navigate. Their next notable meeting occurred 2 years later, in 1980, at a friend's house party. During this time, Charles was deeply affected by the tragic loss of Lord Mountbatten. Diana's empathy and kind words touched Charles profoundly. She noticed his sadness and told him he shouldn't be lonely and deserved someone to care for him. This genuine moment of compassion brought them closer, revealing a side of Diana that Charles hadn't fully seen before. Diana's popularity with the public soared, endearing her to the British people with her genuine warmth and relatability. This increasing public admiration added strain to her already challenging marriage with Charles. The constant media spotlight created a fishbowl existence for Diana, where every move was scrutinized and every gesture analyzed. Despite the glamour and prestige of her position, Diana's life was far from a fairy tale, filled with personal struggles and a relentless quest for privacy and normalcy for herself and her children. Her journey was marked by immense personal growth and resilience, even as she sought to find her own identity within the strict confines of royal expectations. Later that year, Diana received an invitation to the royal family's Balmoral estate. This visit was significant, almost like an audition for royal approval. Diana fit in effortlessly, charming everyone with her natural ease, and even learning to fish with Charles. The paparazzi quickly caught on to their growing relationship, and Diana became a media sensation. They were particularly captivated by a photo of her at her kindergarten job, which inadvertently revealed more than intended due to the sunlight behind her skirt. Charles's comment about Diana's legs being spectacular indicated a shift in their relationship to something more personal and less formal. By January 1981, with the media frenzy at its peak, Prince Philip decided it was time for Charles to make a decision. He sent a letter to Charles, urging him to either propose to Diana or end their relationship to protect her reputation. Charles took this as a royal mandate, leading to a proposal and what would become the wedding of the century. On February 6, 1981, Charles proposed to Diana, and she accepted. This royal engagement was a major event, filled with immense pressure and expectations. A few weeks after the proposal, the couple gave a televised interview. It was charming until a seemingly simple question cast a shadow over their happy news. When asked if they were in love, Diana immediately said yes, but Charles's ambiguous response about what being in love meant raised some eyebrows. At the time, this was perhaps seen as typical royal reserve. On July 29, 1981, The highly anticipated royal wedding took place at St. Paul's Cathedral in London, drawing an estimated 750 million viewers worldwide. Diana, stunning in an ivory silk gown with a 25-foot train, the longest ever worn by a British royal bride, exuded elegance despite her visible nerves, which led her to mistakenly call Charles by the wrong name during their vows. The wedding's splendor was undeniable, yet hints of underlying challenges and pressures were present from the beginning. Remarkably, Diana and Charles had only met 13 times before his proposal. Imagine committing to marriage after so few encounters. Their honeymoon, expected to be filled with romance and joy, turned out to be far from idyllic. Instead of basking in newlywed bliss, the couple spent time reading books by Charles's favorite author, Lawrence van der Post. Diana later revealed in taped interviews for a biography that her hopes had already faded by the second day of the honeymoon. She felt exhausted and emotionally drained, not from happiness, but from the immense pressure of adapting to her new royal role. In retrospect, both the engagement and wedding were grand yet bittersweet events, marked by celebration and underlying struggles, with millions witnessing only the surface glitter, unaware of the deeper challenges. Despite their history, Camilla attended the royal wedding, likely due to her husband, Andrew Parker Bowles's position as the commanding officer of the Household Cavalry Mounted Regiment. At this time, both Charles and Camilla were married to others, and it seemed their romantic involvement had ended.
I'm 75 now, and I can't remember anybody except the Queen being there.
In a shocking turn of events, tensions have reportedly flared within the royal household, with King Charles allegedly delivering a harsh reprimand to Queen Camilla, sparking an unexpected reaction. Sources close to the palace reveal that this confrontation may have stemmed from a recent disagreement on a sensitive matter within the monarchy, leading to a rift between the royal couple. Camilla, known for her resilience, was visibly shaken by Charles's words, and insiders suggest that she had a rare public outburst that left those around her stunned. This latest episode hints at underlying issues between Charles and Camilla, and while the royal family typically handles disputes in private, this incident has fueled fresh speculations about growing discord. The royal couple's public image has always emphasized unity, but this incident raises questions about the stability and cohesion within the royal household. Queen Camilla's life within the royal family has been marked by transformation, dedication, and public intrigue that have defined her journey from a figure surrounded by controversy to a respected royal. Her role as the queen consort of King Charles III places her in a unique position within the British monarchy, a position that carries immense responsibility and influence, as well as expectations that she continues to reshape. Camilla's role in the royal family has evolved over the years, particularly as she transitioned from Duchess of Cornwall to Queen Consort. Early on, her presence was often met with public skepticism, but she steadily became a committed and reliable figure beside Charles. Camilla has embraced her role with a focus on philanthropy, supporting numerous causes, and making a real difference in communities across the United Kingdom. From championing issues related to literacy, health, and domestic violence to supporting the arts, her work emphasizes connection and empathy. Many people have come to see Camilla as a grounded, relatable royal, often using her position to give a voice to issues that might otherwise remain in the shadows. One of her most prominent initiatives has been in the area of literacy and education, a cause she is deeply passionate about. Camilla founded The Reading Room, an online platform that celebrates literature and encourages readers to come together. The initiative has grown immensely popular, with readers around the world engaging in discussions, following Camilla's personal book recommendations, and participating in live author events. Her dedication to this cause shows her commitment to leaving a meaningful legacy, one that promotes the enrichment of minds and the encouragement of lifelong learning. Camilla's role in championing health issues is also significant. She has worked with organizations that promote awareness of osteoporosis, a disease that affected her mother and grandmother. Through her personal experiences, she has been able to bring greater attention to the disease and encourage people to seek support and treatment. Her advocacy extends beyond physical health. She is also a vocal supporter of mental health initiatives, particularly for young people and victims of domestic abuse. In collaboration with various organizations, Camilla works to remove the stigma associated with mental health issues and create safe spaces for those in need. Her efforts in this area have gained substantial recognition, and she has been credited with helping to shift public perception on these critical topics. Engagement with the public is central to Camilla's role as queen consort. Unlike other royals who may sometimes appear distant or aloof, Camilla's interactions often carry a warmth and sincerity that resonates with those she meets. She frequently attends events where she listens to people's stories, offering comfort and showing genuine interest in their lives. This approach has helped her build a reputation as a people's queen, of sorts, someone who cares about the struggles and joys of ordinary people. Whether visiting community centers, schools, or hospitals, Camilla always makes an effort to connect on a personal level, which has helped endear her to many and shift public opinion over time. Despite her strong presence and positive contributions, Camilla is no stranger to rumors and speculation, particularly regarding her relationship with King Charles and her role within the family. From the early days of her relationship with Charles, she has been a focal point of media attention, often portrayed in unflattering ways that cast a shadow over her public image. Rumors surrounding her influence on the king, as well as her relationships with other royal family members, continue to surface from time to time. While these stories are frequently exaggerated or unfounded, they reflect the challenges she faces in maintaining her reputation in the public eye. One recurring rumor is that Camilla wields a significant amount of influence over King Charles. Some speculate that she is a key advisor to him, particularly on issues related to modernizing the monarchy. While the extent of her influence is not publicly known, it is likely that, as his closest confidant, she does provide insight and support that helps guide his decisions. Their relationship, forged over many years and many challenges, is built on mutual respect, and it's understandable that Charles might value her perspective. Still, the notion that Camilla could influence policy decisions or the monarchy's future is often blown out of proportion by tabloids eager to stir up controversy. In addition to questions about her influence, Camilla's relationship with other members of the royal family is another area of interest and speculation. While there have been reports of tension between her and other royals, especially in the early years of her marriage to Charles, insiders suggest that these relationships have evolved over time. Camilla has reportedly made efforts to build rapport with the younger generation of royals, including Prince William and Prince Harry. While the dynamics within the family are complex and often strained by public expectations and media pressure, it appears that Camilla is generally well regarded and respected by her extended family members. Looking ahead, Camilla's future as queen consort promises both challenges and opportunities. As the monarchy adapts to the demands of a rapidly changing world, Camilla will play a crucial role in shaping its direction and relevance. Her focus on social issues, coupled with her approachable demeanor, positions her as a bridge between the traditional aspects of the monarchy and the progressive values that many people, particularly younger generations, wish to see embraced by the royal family. Her ability to connect with the public and her willingness to engage on difficult topics suggest that she will continue to be an important figure in the monarchy's public outreach. One potential challenge for Camilla moving forward is navigating the scrutiny that inevitably comes with her role. As queen consort, every aspect of her life is subject to public analysis, and even small missteps can become major talking points. However, her experience over the years has equipped her to handle criticism with grace and resilience. Camilla's approach to public life is less about perfection and more about authenticity. She understands that connecting with people sometimes means showing vulnerability and acknowledging imperfections. Another area where Camilla could make a lasting impact is in the modernization of royal traditions. While King Charles is known for his interest in environmentalism and the arts, Camilla's focus on social issues and her relatively progressive approach to her role could encourage the monarchy to adapt to contemporary values. This includes promoting greater inclusivity within the institution and expanding the monarchy's involvement in issues like mental health and domestic abuse. By aligning the monarchy with causes that resonate with modern audiences, Camilla can help ensure its relevance and importance in the years to come. Ultimately, Camilla's journey as queen consort is one of reinvention and resilience. She has proven that, despite initial opposition and ongoing rumors, it is possible to carve out a meaningful role within one of the world's most scrutinized institutions. Her engagement with people, commitment to social causes, and down-to-earth personality have earned her a level of respect that seemed unlikely in the past. Today, Camilla stands not only as King Charles's partner, but as a figure of her own making. A queen consort who has redefined her position through dedication and kindness. As she continues her work, the legacy she builds will reflect her unique approach to the role. Whether through her support for literacy, health awareness, or the various other causes she champions, Camilla is leaving an indelible mark on the royal family. While questions about her influence and relationships will likely persist, her actions speak louder than any rumors. By staying true to her values and remaining committed to making a positive impact, Queen Camilla is securing her place in the future of the monarchy, shaping it in a way that reflects both tradition and progress. Queen Camilla's importance in the royal family continues to deepen, often blending tradition with her own style. Initially viewed as a controversial figure, she's become instrumental in bolstering the monarchy's public image, especially after her official title of Queen Consort became Queen following King Charles's ascension. Her approach is practical, direct, and she's committed to supporting various charitable initiatives, from causes like osteoporosis awareness, something she has long been passionate about, to promoting literacy and tackling domestic violence. These efforts have not only redefined her role, but have also increased her popularity over the years. In terms of future moves, Camilla is likely to continue modernizing and streamlining the royal presence. Unlike past consorts who largely stayed out of the limelight, she appears ready to step into a more vocal, public-facing role, possibly championing mental health or other contemporary issues facing younger generations. Her next steps may also involve engaging with international audiences, subtly shaping foreign relations through diplomatic visits and partnerships.